I have played Last Epoch since early access, and in this video I will give you 10 tips that will hopefully make your Last Epoch experience more enjoyable. Tip number 1. If you want to get the most XP while leveling, there are a couple of things to watch for. First, only spend time killing mobs if you are below the current area level, ideally a few levels below. You can be up to 10 levels lower for the biggest XP bonus. Past that, the game won't give you more bonus XP. This makes sure the monsters you kill give more XP instead of wasting time fighting ones that are at or below your level. If you're not below the current area level, just run through the zone quickly. When you do stop to kill enemies in areas higher than your own level, focus on magic or rare mobs, since these give you more XP, and rares give the most of all. This connects perfectly to our next tip. Tip number 2. To level fast in monoliths, go for the echoes that give experience tomes as rewards. When you finish one of these echoes, the XP tomes you will get will boost your XP way more than killing mobs. Pick echoes that lead to the closest XP tomes echoes and finish only the main goal to get the reward. Then do it again and again to level fast. Tip number 3. If you like to play several characters in a season, this tip is for you. There's one way you could easily farm some top-notch gear for future alternate characters. Going into our loot filter, you could add a rule to highlight any exalted item drop with a tier 7 affix. This way you can fill stash with good tier 7 gear. If you even know your next character, you could add specific affixes you want to look out for here as well. Now, we could take this up a notch and add a separate rule that highlights all items with 2 or more exalted affixes as well. This way you'll passively farm potential top-notch gear for your next character. So, enjoying the tips so far? Consider clicking the thumbs up like button to let me know. Tip number 4. Salvaging important and rare affixes for your build is crucial for crafting exactly the gear you need, but many people are going about this the wrong way. Rune of Shattering destroys the item and salvages affix shards from it, but it's totally random what affixes and how many of them it salvages. If you want more control, you should rather use the Rune of Removal to salvage crucial affixes from items. This rune will extract a random affix and the exact amount of shards matching its tiers. For example, a tier 3 hybrid health affix will give you 3 hybrid health shards you can use for crafting. You can use the Rune of Removal several times on the item until the forging potential is fully consumed. A bonus tip here is to use the Rune of Removal with the Glyph of Hope to have a 25% chance to not use any forging potential at all on every use. And if the forging potential eventually drops to 0 without the desired affix being salvaged, you can use the Rune of Shattering on it as a final chance to salvage the affix you need. Tip number 5. Set items are often overlooked by players, and for a good reason. They don't have any legendary potential mechanics to craft more stats onto them, which naturally makes them less appealing. But many set bonuses are actually really strong. You can get those bonuses without wearing the set itself. You can craft the set item affixes onto your regular non-unique gear. To do this, you must first salvage the set items of the set you want to get the bonus from, in the woven echo called the Great Bridge. This will drop set item shards that you can now craft onto your gear, and when you craft the required total items needed to get the set item bonus in this way, you will get that bonus to your character. This is a great way to get the really good set bonuses without having to wear the set items themselves, and could be a game changer for your build. By the way, I'm gonna do many more Last Epoch tips videos, so make sure to hit the subscribe button to stay tuned for those. Want to go the extra mile? Click the join button to support me as a member of the channel. I highly appreciate all the support. Tip number 6. If you need to farm a specific unique item with at least 2 legendary potential, or LP as it's often called, you could simply wait for it to drop, or you could take use of a pretty neat mechanic to possibly increase the same unique item with low LP. In the woven echo called Farsight Turtle, you can at the end put unique items with LP and re-roll them to try raising the LP. The roll works the same way as if the item just dropped, so it's more likely to go to 0 LP, but if you gather lots of the low LP items, your chances of hitting a higher LP go up. If it drops to 0 LP, you can try to add LP again using the Nemesis system. This is why you should keep all uniques you need as long as they have LP, as you can end up with increasing their LP here. Tip number 7, and this one is a quality of life tip. In Last Epoch you have to travel a lot between zones, either it being to a specific town to get quest rewards, traveling between monoliths in the endgame, and even entering echoes within a monolith timeline. Usually you would click on the destination in the map and then the travel button. But you know what? There's an easier way. By simply right-clicking to the destination, you will teleport immediately to the destination. Imagine how many clicks this would save on several hundreds hours of gameplay, and not to say time you could rather spend advancing your character. Tip number 8. Many players are interested in pushing corruption the fastest way possible. It increases XP and item rarity, and most important of all, it increases the difficulty, making the game more immersive. To increase corruption, you need to get to the shade of Orbis echoes looking like this. Now, to get to these, you have to traverse the echo web far out from the center. Make sure you have at least 4 gazes of Orbis from defeating the timeline boss, and then defeat the actual shade of Orbis to increase the corruption. Sounds like a lot of work, right? Well, there's a faster way. If you get 8 or more gazes of Orbis, the shade echo will appear right after your next completed echo. Here's how to do this fastest. Use Glyph of Envies or Temporal Keystones to raise the ability in the timeline you last did an echo in. Equip a Harbinger's Needle, which makes the timeline boss give more gazes. These needles drop from Harbingers and Aberoth. Kill the timeline boss and repeat until you have 8 plus gazes. Do 1 echo and the shade will appear. This can boost corruption by hundreds in only minutes, and a bonus tip is to advance in the Forgotten Knights faction by slaying Harbingers on the required corruption level, as this will give double Harbinger's Needle drop chance, 20% more Temporal Keystone drops, 1 extra corruption from each gaze, and 1 extra gaze from each Harbinger kill. Tip number 9. If you have already pushed corruption high on your main character and are playing through with an alternate character, here's the most efficient way to boost corruption. You see, there is a way to synchronize the highest corruption you have already achieved on your account to alternate characters. By completing a cemetery, you get to the Altar of the Weaver, where you can place woven echoes into the Monolith Timeline Echo Web. Now, here you can place an echo called Confluence of Oblivion. When entering this echo, you need to defeat the shade of Orbis of each type, and when you succeed, the timeline's corruption is increased to the highest corruption achieved on your account. A great way to boost corruption for your alternate characters. Now, before we take a look at the last tip, I want to remind you that I'm gonna make deep dive tips videos into different mechanics of the game soon, so make sure to subscribe to the channel to stay tuned for those. Tip number 10. Scaling damage is very important in last Epoch, especially for higher corruption. Adding flat damage like your weapon space damage usually gives the biggest boost, but when it comes to the other stats, it might be harder to know what you should try to aim for. For instance, it can be tricky to choose between increased damage and more damage. Increased damage means all the increased numbers are added together first, and then they make your damage stronger. More damage means the number is multiplied after everything else, which boosts your damage by a bigger amount. This is why you should usually try to get more damage instead of increased damage, as this multiplies your total damage instead of just adding to it. If you want more details and nuances, I will try to make a damage scaling video in the future. And that's the 10 tips I think every player should know in last Epoch. Let me know in the comments which tip helped you the most. And if you want more specific tips, you should click on the video card showing on the screen right now.